Well, I'm very happy that we're here today and finally getting to start with our Two-Row Wampum campaign. Tonight we're going to have representatives of different efforts that represent the atmosphere and the gist and the feeling of the Two-Row Wampum, where people work together as equals and help one another with their gifts that they happen to have from both sides, from the Haudenosaunee and Native side and the American side, I'd say. And people have been doing this all along, and it's not always obvious. So we thought we would start out first with having pairs of people come down the aisle and come up here, and you can see them and hear what they're doing, because they're doing wonderful work. And the people that you see are just two people, usually in an effort that, you know, needed many people to help out with. So they're just examples of those people who work together present day, and there are many. So we do want to recognize them, and hopefully we have people gathered up for that. All right. I'd first like to introduce Curtis Waterman, Beaver Clan. He's a longtime blues musician who serves as the Onondaga representative to the Haudenosaunee Environmental Task Force. Aya Yamamoto is a student at the SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry and an active member of Neighbors of Onondaga Nation. Jane Zell supports the protection of the environment and has played in the area with the Zell Tones and has known Curtis for a very long time. And let's see, Aya Yamamoto is a Two-Row Wampum Renewal Campaign Steering and Enactment Committee member. So they are musicians, and they're going to play some music as we go along. So hopefully we are ready, and I did not realize we wouldn't be able to see anything. Are they ready? We'll take turns.
Okay. The first pair is Tadadaho Sid Hill, the spiritual leader of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and Maurice Hinchy, who served 20 years in Congress and has long been a voice for social justice and environmental protection. They represent the promise of the Two-Row, two governments working side by side in peace and friendship, respecting one another's different ways. So please go ahead and start processing down.
Okay. Irving Paulus Jr., Beaver Clan, is an Onondaga chief and secretary of the Onondaga Nation, author, historian, ambassador, and more. Robert Venables is a longtime educator and historian and author of the two-volume set American Indian History, 5 Centuries of Conflict and Coexistence. Irving and Bob have worked together for over 30 years to untangle the web of misinformation about the Haudenosaunee and share the true history of relations between our peoples. Robert's here somewhere. Are you there? You're right behind me.
Jeannie Shenandoah, Eel Clan, works for the Onondaga Nation Communications Office and is the founding vice president of the Matilda Jocelyn Gage Foundation. Sally Roche Wagner, the founder and director of the Gage Foundation, is a longtime feminist activist and educator. Jeannie and Sally have spoken widely together, including from this stage, about the Haudenosaunee influence on the U.S. women's rights movement.
Robin Kimmerer Potawatomi is a botany professor, director of the Center for Native Peoples and the Environment at SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry, and a poet. Bruce Baumgarten is the provost and vice president for academic affairs at SUNY SF and works with Robin on the board of the Center for the Native Peoples and the Environment. The center is the forefront of efforts to bridge the gap between indigenous understandings of the natural world and Western environmental studies.
We're a little delayed by needing to flip over our pages. We printed on double sides to save a little paper. Regina Jones, Turtle Clan, is the Assistant Director of the Native Student Program at Syracuse University. She works closely with James Duajiman, the Director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs, to make SU a welcoming place for Native students and people of all ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Their work builds on the strong foundation established by Chancellor Nancy Cantor's commitment to scholarship in action.
Dan Hill Heron Clan is a Cayuga title holder, Cayuga representative to the Haudenosaunee Environmental Task Force, and an artist and musician. Dan helps maintain the land known as the Cayuga Share Farm. Jack Rawson, a professor of anthropology at Ithaca College, is a founding member of SHARE, Strengthening Haudenosaunee American Relations Through Education, and works to gain respect for indigenous oral traditions among scholars. Jack played a key role in the return of Cayuga land to the Cayuga Nation.
Tom Huff Deer Clan is a Tom Huff Deer Clan is a stone sculptor, curator, and arts educator. Rose Viviano is a stained glass artist and director of the Art Rage Gallery. Tom and Rose have worked together to promote the arts as a source of understanding and inspiration to work for peace, social justice, and protection of the earth.
Debbie Webster Eel Clan has worked regularly at the Syracuse Peace Council for nearly a decade. Carol Baum is a longtime Peace Council staff person and co-founder of Noon. The Peace Council was a strong ally and friend of the Onondaga Nation long before Noon was formed in the late 1990s. Because peace is central to the missions of both the Haudenosaunee and the Peace Council, this is a natural alliance.
Shirley Hill, Turtle Clan, works at the Onondaga Nation Arena, which is called Where They Play Games is the English translation, and I'll ask Frida when I'm done to give you the Onondaga word for it. And she also works on the planning for the Two-Row Wampum symbolic enactment trip down the Hudson. She has worked for several years with Joan Cope Savage, a local environmental scientist and Noon member, on the Good Friends Garden. The garden is a collaboration between Noon and Onondaga gardeners to build relationships and support sustainable agriculture.
Alf Jock's Turtle Clan is one of the few traditional acrostic makers still keeping up the craft. Mike Greenlaw is a local photographer who has worked with Alf and others to document the Haudenosaunee roots of lacrosse and other aspects of the culture.
Dr. Roberta Johnson, Coyote Clan, grew up on the Onondaga Nation and works at the health center there. Dr. Joel Potash, a member of Noon, works with Roberta and others at the Onondaga Nation Health Center. Both seek to blend modern health care with traditional Haudenosaunee understandings of health.
Brad Paulus Eel Clan is a teacher at the Onondaga Nation School and sits on the Onondaga Council of Chiefs. He is working with Phil Arnold, professor of religion at the Syracuse University, founding director of SCANU, the Great Law of Peace Center at Onondaga Lake. This major project will transform a site of confused and misleading history into a multi-purpose educational center at the birthplace of democracy.
Tony Gagne, Beaver Clan, Faith Keeper, is active with the Haudenosaunee Repatriation Committee. He worked closely with Greg Tripoli, director of the Onondaga Historical Society, for the return of wampum to the Onondaga Nation. Greg led his organization in voluntarily returning the belt and other cultural patrimony, a precedent-setting repatriation of a significant collection from a non-federally funded private museum and historical association. Tony created a replica belt for OHA as a sign of the Onondaga Nation's appreciation.
Dwayne Perry. Dwayne C. Perry is the chief of the Rapapo Lenape Nation, the Munsee people of Rappahannock Pass, from the New York and New Jersey border region. Lori Seaman is an advocate for protecting our waterways, founding member of the Sparkill Creek Watershed Alliance, and the director of the Strawtown Art and Garden Studio, devoted to outdoor experiential education for young people. Dwayne and Lori are working to support the Two-Row Wampum Renewal Campaign and educate people about the ceremonial lands and grounds of the Munsee people.
Wendy Gagne, Beaver Clan clan mother, is a writer and educator. She has worked closely with Carol Resnick, a founder of Noon, since the original Neighbor to Neighbor, Nation to Nation booklet was published in 2000. They are among the coordinators for the revised 72-page educational booklet, which will be published in the coming months. Look for and share this rich educational resource for our community.
Orrin Lyons, Wolf Clan, is a faith keeper and internationally recognized spokesperson for indigenous peoples and the protection of the earth. Ed Bogus is the executive director of the Syracuse Center of Excellence, New York State Center of Excellence in Environmental and Energy Systems. Orrin and Ed collaborate to bridge the gap between indigenous understandings of the environment and technical environmental science.
Bob Shenandoah, Eel Clan, sings in traditional Haudenosaunee settings and has sung with the Syracuse Community Choir for 20 years. Karen Mahaly directs the choir and is a longtime friend of the Onondaga. For over 25 years, the choir has sung of peace, social justice, and protecting Mother Earth. Bob's mother, Audrey, loved the choir and often participated in their concerts. This year's Summer Solstice concert, Thursday, June 30th at the Onondaga Nation School, will honor the 400th anniversary of the Two-Row Wampum Agreement.
Tamara Cook, Bear Clan, is active in the effort to prevent hydrofracking and has organized Idle No More events in Syracuse. Jack Ramsden has led Noon's anti-fracking work for several years, organizing, speaking, passing out literature, etc. Jack has likely distributed more anti-fracking lawn signs than anyone else in the state. You can get a sign for only $6 and learn how you can get involved after the presentation.
Is Tom Porter here? Yeah, great. Tom Porter, Bear Clan, is a Mohawk leader and founder of the Gana-Jolege settlement, reestablished in 1993 on the Mohawk River near what is now Fonda, New York. When Amanda Hopkins, a nearby landowner, learned of the resettlement, she generously offered support, and I'm told land as well. Gana-Jolege is a Mohawk community which returned to that nation's ancestral lands as part of an effort to strengthen their culture.
Amanda is up in her years, so I guess she did not make it tonight. So, Pete Jimis, nope. Michael Taylor, Wolf Clan, is an assistant professor of anthropology and Native American Studies at Colgate University. Brooke Hansen, a professor of anthropology at Ithaca College, is a founder of SHARE. Michael and Brooke are active members of the Central New York Native American Studies Consortium, which works to teach about indigenous issues and peoples both historically in our current context in area colleges and universities.
Is Ron Shenandoah here? Well, I'm going to say this anyway. Okay. Ron Shenandoah, Eel Clan, and Onondaga Fire Captain. Harold Smith is the firehouse captain for Nedro's Firehouse. They collaborate on emergency response for the area, which includes the Onondaga Nation and neighboring towns and villages. The two departments have a strong working relationship, which has resulted in faster and more effective emergency response throughout the area.
Hickory next. Hickory Edwards, Turtle Clan, is the Onondaga coordinator for the two-row symbolic enactment. Lindsay Spear is an environmental organizer on behalf of the Onondaga Nation and is publicity coordinator for the two-row campaign. Hickory and Lindsay work together to plan and implement the two-row enactment this coming summer. They'll be doing a lot of paddling and looking for others to join in the fun.
Jake Edwards, Eel Clan, sits on the Onondaga Nation Council of Chiefs and speaks widely on historical and environmental issues. Jack Mano is a professor of environmental studies at SUNY College of Environmental Science and Forestry and educational coordinator for the two-row campaign. Jake and Jack work together to educate folks about the campaign. Both are eloquent and engaging speakers who are spreading the two-row message far and wide.